Okay, here we have the floor mat. What I'll do is I'm going to zoom in. I've got my two cleaners. I'm going to zoom in for you because all I've done so far is I've pre-vacuumed it. Now what I like to do is because this is light, this is a light gray. Now when it comes to, this is I'm going to state an obvious here. Obviously, the lighter the material is, the more difficult it will be to clean. The more the dirt's going to show up. Okay, I'm just stating the obvious. So when it comes to the paint or the interior of your car, you have certain winning combinations. Light interior represents trade-offs. That's probably better well put that way. Everything has trade-offs. So you trade off one benefit for another benefit, one drawback for another drawback. Point is, when it comes to carpeting, the light interior will show actual dirt more than dark interior. Dark interior will show the lint and what I would call superficial dirt more than light interior. So like lint on this is not going to show up as much as lint on a black floor mat. So because lint and natural dust and that kind of stuff is more of an issue or more common, that might drive you crazy. But that's just a simple vacuum away from being clean. This kind of dirt, if this was on a black floor mat, would hardly even show up. So you could go like a year or whatever and never shampoo your floor mat because it's black. I don't recommend it because dirt does degrade the material and break it down. But the point is there's always trade-offs. So like in a black car, everyone loves the look of black paint, but it shows the dust so easily. It shows all the imperfections. White cars are easier to take care of. So there's always trade-offs. The point is this is light gray material. So it is difficult because it shows the dirt. So I'm going to zoom in for you. And let's have a look. All right, there we are. Okay, so now we've got it zoomed in. And like I said, all I've done is I've pre-vacuumed this. But what I do like to do is I've got my stiff brush, nylon brush. On my website, I'll show you some alternatives to this. This particular brush, you may have one around the house already. This particular brush I got at Target. It represents what I call the winning combination of stiffness, the amount of bristles, and how stiff it is or isn't. So it's just a good all-around brush. So the idea with cleaning is you always want to remove the loose dirt first, and that's where the vacuum comes in. My little vacuum here. So you can just simply vacuum it, which I've done, or you can take the brush, which is even a better way to go about it, and you can break up all the loose dirt and get as much loose dirt out of the floor mat prior to cleaning it. So I've already done all that. So now I have two cleaners here, my all-purpose cleaner, both put out by Meguiar's, and my super degreaser, both put out by Meguiar's. Now this is what they look like in the gallon size. This, as you can tell, I'm almost used up completely, so I need to replace it. This is brand new, red, green, all-purpose cleaner, super degreaser. Now, this may be misleading to you because it's super degreaser, which would suggest that it is used for engines, which indeed it can be, but the reality is it's a concentrate and it has heavy dutier cleaners more so than this will. So I keep both these products on hand to do virtually every car. So this this floor mat's relatively dirty, but I don't have any, there's no gum spots, there's no heavy duty grease spots, but it is pretty dirty. So I'm going to clean it first with the all-purpose cleaner, and I simply spray, and I'm not saturating it, and then I scrub like this. Now you'll you'll notice that most of the dirt was contained to the foot area, which makes sense. So I don't really have to use much down here. But up here and through the middle is where you're going to get most of your dirt. Now normally I'm a big fan of the microfiber cloths because they're far more absorbent. They don't leave lint. Now as far as a tactile experience, for lack of a better word, is these do feel better because they slide along the carpeting easier than a microfiber cloth. The microfiber cloth on some materials will tend to grab it and you'll have a harder time soaking things up with it as you slide it along the carpeting. But I wanted to bring this white one with me so you could see how much dirt is being pulled up. So I simply mop it up, go back and forth, and you can tell by the amount of dirt that's being soaked up on the cloth and how clean this is coming already that I am indeed getting pretty good results. So that's just one shampooing. Now with that I need to add something because this, and what I'm going to do is pull back a little bit. And let's see here. There we go. Nope. Okay. Pull back a little bit, and so I can get into it and have a little eye contact. Boy, you would think I'd never worked out a day in my life by the amount of heavy breathing. Anyhow, it's first thing in the morning, and I haven't honestly been that physically active this morning, so I'm kind of catching up to speed here. Anyhow, so this is just one shampoo. I would say that this would be, in probably most people's eyes, a level 9 as far as clean. The appearance of it is a level 9. Now, for most people, if you were just to ask them if this was acceptable, they would say yes. The problem is in looking at a lot of videos on YouTube, you'll find that when it comes to floor mats, because they can be removed out of a car, and people want to overcomplicate it, in my opinion, and once again, this is my opinion, it's not the only way, but they're very effective ways, and they're simplified ways. Because what I could have done is I could have saturated this floor mat with my all-purpose cleaner, scrubbed it, then taken a pressure washer and hosed out all the dirt with a pressure washer, force out every bit of dirt. But to me, that's not a very good solution for a couple reasons. First off, it's far more messier. Second off, I don't care how long you wash this mat with water, you're never going to get 100% of the dirt out of it. It's just not realistic. So I don't care if your carpets are getting cleaned in the house or you're cleaning the carpets on your car. The reality is, because there's so many fibers and they're porous, which means that they have all these tiny little pockets and cells and nooks and crannies that dirt can get into, it really is naive and unrealistic to think that you're literally going to get 100% of the dirt out of it. So if that's the case, if you accept that there's always going to be some level of dirt, then why overthink it? Because this looks clean, okay? And that took me, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes at tops. Vacuum it, scrub it, re-vacuum it to get all the loose dirt out of it, spray it, scrub it, and mop it up. And that's only one go round, and I'm going to put this at a level 9. You know, and considering that this floor mat has 140,000 miles on it, to me that's pretty impressive. But that's not all the information, because there's more information. But before I get to that, I am going to go ahead and do one more cleaning. I'm going to douche it one more time. This time I'm going to use my heavy duty degreaser to show you that in fact it's the same process. Spray it, scrub it, now I'll take a fresh side, because here's my original dirty side. You can see the obvious dirt. Let's take a fresh side and see what we pick up, the amount of dirt we pick up on round number 2. So once again, back and forth, mop it up. I'm using quite a bit of pressure. And what I'm trying to achieve is a couple things. A, I'm trying to obviously get the dirt up, but I'm getting it to a level where it feels mostly dry. So there's round number 2 right there. I can still feel pretty good dampness. As far as visually looking at it, it looks clean. Once again, I'm going to give this at least a level 9, if not a 10. I've picked up more and more dirt every time I pass over it. And as long as there's still moisture there, I'm still going to wick up or absorb up dirty solution that brings the dirt with it. So you can do this as many times as you want, as long as you're still pulling up dirt. But once again, this is detailing simplified. I don't want to overcomplicate things. So, and this goes in the whole line of operating a business where time is money. So if I can produce results like this that I know my customer will be ecstatic with, more than happy with, I'm happy with it, and I can do it in less time, less effort, then why not? Because we all accept that there's in fact still dirt in there, but you're never going to get it 100%, like I said. So anyhow, I don't need to overthink it. This floor mat is clean. It feels pretty dry already because I've mopped up so much of the liquid, the solution. Now there's some areas, like I said, around the edges that are frayed. There's not much I can do that. If it was a customer's car, I could clip this with some scissors and kind of trim it up a little bit. In fact, in my bag of tricks, I keep scissors with me for this very issue, and I can just trim up all these little fibers. These scissors are less than perfectly sharp because I've used them so many times. So this is just natural wear and tear. You know, no detail in the world is going to have a solution for this as far as fixing it, or I should say preventing it from happening. This is just part of the nature of detailing, where every moment represents a problem-solving challenge. So how do I solve a problem so that I deliver a better product to my customer, a better service, and allow myself to rise above my competition? And this is just one of those ways. So I can spend the time, doesn't take too much time, and I can just go around and trim these little frayed edges off of this floor mat so that it indeed actually looks that much better, and maybe even that much cleaner. You know, don't underestimate the power of suggestion. You know, when my customer comes out and looks at this, the customer in this situation is my wife, so she's going to be a little more forgiving. But this would be a product that I would be more than proud to deliver to my customer because the floor mat looks so good. Now, as I suggested, or I referenced, there is a missing factor that I have not told you. Now, in case you can see it, this is a little sidebar, by the way. Here and here are 2 grease marks. What happens is the seat mechanisms, the runners, the hardware that keeps the seat attached to the floor mat and allow it to slide back and forth, create these permanent grease marks here. Now, if I wanted to, I could get those out. once again, I don't need to overthink it. Why? Because when I put this floor mat back in and where the seat rests, it's going to cover those up completely. And Johnny customer, if it wasn't my wife, would never even see that. But that's a judgment call that you can make, and that's where I would use this heavy duty degreaser, allow it to dwell a little bit, get my brush, scrub it, mop it up, and I could in fact eliminate it. Maybe not truly 90%, but I could probably get it 85 to 90% just in this little time frame there, which actually, I don't know, I might give that a 95% because it's almost completely gone. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. So I'm going to end the video now, and I'm going to create well, actually, before I do that, what I do want to add is something that seems to be popular with detailers still today. Now, I've been detailing since 1988. Now, back in the late 80s, early 90s, we used to do, in my world and my employees' world, under the direction of me, the boss, is we would put in what's called clean lines. And what we would do is we would do something like this, and it's like carpet vacuum marks in your house. So when the housekeepers or the house cleaners come and you vacuum the carpeting, you can tell that it's freshly vacuumed. And once again, power of suggestion. So it's like, oh yeah, my carpeting's just been vacuumed, it's all nice and clean, I feel better about my world, whatever. I'm not a big fan of this anymore. What I prefer now is the simple, straightforward look. So I will always brush the carpeting in a single direction. Now you'll notice that if I do it in that direction, it's a lighter gray. If I do it in this direction, it's kind of a darker gray. That's a judgment call that you obviously can make. Now there's an endless amount of ways you can put designs into this carpet if you wanted to. You can do a little sunburst like this, where it, you know, radiates from here and it bursts out the little rays, whatever. Once again, to me, that's just creates busyness, what I would call almost like clutter to the inside of a car. I prefer everything to be stock. I don't like things shiny in the car. That doesn't mean there's never a purpose to use dressings, but I like it like this. So that's what I do. It's not for everyone, but I just think that a lot of detailers try to overcompensate because I see it when my customers, let's say they take the cars to the car wash, or it's a first-time customer, and I can see these marks that the worker bees have put in at the car wash, because it's, once again, working on the power of suggestion, where if they go through, do a light shampoo, and then they put these marks everywhere in, and it's kind of like the showmanship, you know, it's like, oh wow, cool, we got all these cool marks and patterns and all my floor mats and door panels and whatever. Well, clearly they must have cleaned everywhere because all these cool little marks and patterns are there. But the reality is, it doesn't mean it's clean. I would rather have it laying in one complete uniform direction so that I can tell, yes, this is now clean. So, end of discussion. I'm going to cut this because the added information is that this has carpet protector on it. So I'm going to make a separate video. If you want to see that, go to my video labeled as carpet protector. And because this is one of the reasons, even though these are great products, the added element is that I have, and I do put carpet protector on this each and every time because it works. So let's cut the video. And if you want to see it, you can watch that video separately.